Road on 01733 343750. Chicken Palace, open 11 a.m. till late.
दोस्ता की परेशान है
जरा कर है ना सारा सौदा मुक्या वा मुल्का विच पैसे भेजने
हूं नहीं अमार फूड वाले की फोन खड़का ते फ्री लोकल डिलीवरी कार मंगवा
आलाता उथे क्या स्पेशल आ
उना की लबाई हाइजीन विच ग्रेड 5 चीजें चंगियां मियारी ते सस्तियां ते नाले ऑफर ही ऑफर
और क्या
ताजा गोश्त ताजी सब्जियां ते फ्रूट आटा चावल दालां मसाले ते जूस सारे बिल जमा करने गैस ते इलेक्ट्रिक ने टॉप अप भी करने पाकिस्तान पैसे बिल्कुल फ्री भेजने मतलब के एक चिड़ी ने दूध छड़ी ते हर शय लबनी
उठ जने ने आप उतरा
Amar Food Store and Halal Meat 613B Lincoln Road Peterborough telephone 01733 687374.
Tired of going to the butchers for your halal meat? Haji Baba is now open in Asda. We've been in Asda for over 10 years with over 45 counters nationwide. Come to us for better packaging, variety and great quality. Chicken breast, cubes or mince, only $3.99 a kilo. Lamb or sheep leg, shoulder or mixed for only $6.99 a kilo. Baby chickens only $1.99. All your halal meat and grocery needs under one roof. Haji Baba Halal Meat. Find us in Asda.
I've traveled the world now, I feel my heart's changing. Now my heart beats harder than before. Now it's taking so much heavier now. Now I'm wishing for
broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
Yes, good evening. This is Salam Radio. Welcome to Community Matters, the radio show for all communities across Peterborough and beyond with me, Adrian Holdstock. Community Matters asks questions that matter to our community life. As always, there are many topics and issues to discuss, and tonight we have a couple of great guests joining me in the studio. My first guest is sitting here with me. It's Norma Cole. Welcome, Norma.
Thank you.
Actually, you are the Reverend Canon Norma Cole, a retired vicar in the Church of England, and you moved into Peterborough to be near family and came along to join the church that I lead at St Mark's Church on Lincoln Road. So I think we've known each other about getting on for 6 months now?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Now, much of your ministry leading a church has been in a place I've never ever visited, even though it is sort of in the British Isles. And I say sort of with caution, because it's the Isle of Man. How did you come to be living and working in the Isle of Man?
It was a long story, actually, but when I think back through all my experience of being a farmer's daughter, being brought up in North Yorkshire and the extremities of weather and land, it fitted me quite well for the Isle of Man, although at the time it was somewhere I'd never been to. And it was advertised in Church Times week after week after week. And I was looking for a position, not necessarily in the Isle of Man. I thought it was going to be much closer to home where my family was. But I kept looking at the advert and it kept coming back at me. So I wrote a letter to the Bishop Graham Knowles, as then, and he wrote to me and asked me if I'd like to go over and be interviewed and meet the PCC of the parish that was looking for an incumbent. And I went along, and unlike the Church of England here in the UK, it's not quite so easy. You walk into a room and there are 40 people and they suddenly ask you, can you tell us about where you've been, what you've been doing, and how you see you can make a difference here.
Wow. Interviewed by 40 people. Gosh.
Absolutely. Afterwards, I went round various tables and chatted to them about what they thought they needed in their churches and how best I thought I might be able to fulfill that. And from then on, it was quite a long wait. First of all, the PCCs didn't meet, and then they did, and then half of them were away. And so it was about 3 months before they actually got together to vote as to whether or not they wanted me to go along to fulfill that role. And it was good, except that it was also a royal appointment. So it had to be done by royal consent.
You mean the Queen had to agree?
The Queen had to agree, yes. Because however much the Isle of Man might not want outside government, there is the Queen, who is the head of the church also. And we have a governor, or they had a governor on the Isle of Man, who was appointed by the Queen.
Because I think I need to understand this. The Isle of Man is there, it's between the Welsh border or the Lake District border, coastline and Ireland?
I would say it's in the Irish Sea.
In the Irish Sea.
And also the Irish Sea that surrounds it.
Okay.
Although it's a bit warmer because
Yeah.
the Gulf Stream comes up on the western side.
But it's strange in that it's not governed by Westminster.
True, but it's got its own government. And they will tell you, the people on the island will tell you that they're the oldest government ever recorded.
Okay.
And it's called Tynwald.
Uh-huh.
And I had the experience of being the first female incumbent, vicar incumbent, to be present at Tynwald.
Oh, wow.
Every year.
Yes.
It's a national holiday. And here you get all the regalia from the judiciary, from the governors, from the Manx Parliament, and everyone dressed up and ready to go. And I can tell you a story which is really quite peculiar and funny. But my first visit and my first attendance at this was, I was told that there was never any rain on that day. And I thought I'd put a tint in my hair, and it rained solidly all day, and we had to wait outside as a guard of honour for all these people in their finery to go into church, come out of church, go up to Tynwald Hill and sit under canvas. And then when they'd done that, we were ushered up to the canvas, but we sat on chairs that were on the periphery, and which rain had obviously it's been raining down into the chairs, and we couldn't walk up very politely and start fiddling with our chairs to get puddles out, and we all had to sit in puddles. Plus the fact that I kept looking to see if any of my hair colour had run down my surplice. Vanity.
Goodness. But I do imagine that the Isle of Man has an awful lot of rain. Is that so? Is it?
It does have a lot of rain, and because it's very hilly, undulating, at the sides of the road you can generally see the rain coming down in torrents from the fields onto the roads, and the Manx are forever clearing out ditches and making sure that the soakaways are working pretty well. So yes, it does gush down, but I was also told that there hadn't been any snow on the island for quite some time. And on the night I was inducted and installed as Vicar of Rushen, it snowed like Billio.
Gosh.
So there were two experiences there that they'd never had before, but I was in attendance, and so, well, perhaps it was the female part of me.
The first woman vicar and the first snow for decades.
Absolutely, apparently.
Yes. Now, you mentioned that word Manx. That's like the description of the local people. If they belong to the Isle of Man, then they're Manx.
And belonging is a very big word, because the Manx will call the island, in their Manx anthem, it's called the gem of God's earth.
Oh.
And it is a beautiful place to be, even if it's wet and even if it's snowy. The terrain is rugged, and it's like a microcosm of Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and some of Devon.
Ah.
And on a very clear day, if you're on Snae Fell, which is the tallest mountain, you can actually see Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and England.
Gosh.
So you get the 4 countries. So yes, the Manx have a proud tradition, and mainly so because they have their own government. They're almost like insulated in a way from what's going on around the UK and the rest of the world. And it's the culture of where they've had very little input from outside. For instance, the television didn't actually arrive in the Isle of Man until in the late 20th century.
Oh, gosh.
And so therefore, there are lots of music groups, choirs, you name them, folk song, every idiom that you can think of to do with the Manx tradition, and also silver bands. I can't count how many silver bands there must be in the island, but nearly every, if I said nearly every village has a silver band. It's true. And I was immensely impressed when I was invited to the secondary school and their Christmas concert, and they were playing pieces by composers no one as would ever introduce into secondary schools in the UK. The standard was absolutely high. It was wonderful, and it was like sitting in it was like sitting in a theatre or a hall, listening to professionals playing, rather than school children. So, and there was a vast array of bands of all kinds, Manx jigs, Manx national song, Manx everything. So there was very little of anything coming into the island. And so because it's governed by itself, it also looks after people's work. So if you go over, you have to get a permit to work. And you're not allowed to work unless you have a permit. So in other words, that it's self-sufficient in many, many ways. Obviously, there are things that have to be imported. And on the western side of the island, it's mainly banking, retail, hotels, and hospital staff. So they have to rely on people coming into the island. And I actually stood thinking about it when I went to Peel and looked at the fishing fleet. And I said to them, is this run by your family? Oh, no, we have family, but they don't want to be involved. We have people from Latvia.
Ah, right.
So there was young boys from Latvia on fishing vessels, fishing around the island. And then, of course, you get the Polish people coming in and doing hotels.
Ah, right.
And then, obviously, you get a mixture of medical expertise coming into the island. So it's not totally without some immigrant population, but even those have their own little communities too.
Sure.
And they're catered for. But the Manx community in itself it's almost like cemented together by tradition, by indigenous dwelling. on the western side of the island in particular, where people are not travelling in quite so much. And the music part and the literary part of the island, I would say, is the strongest culture there. And it involves practically everyone. People go to Douglas if they want to go to a last night of the proms.
Right. That's the capital.
Douglas is the capital,
Yep.
and you've got theatre and other places, obviously, but not very many cinemas. I think there are 2 cinemas in the whole island. And it's interesting to note, when I went along to the last night of the proms, we were given 2 flags.
Yes.
One was the Union Jack, and one was the Manx flag. And during the performances, they kept falling off our knees. So I picked up the flag, which wasn't mine, and I assumed it was the chap sitting next to me. And he looked at me and said, "I don't want any unionist flag."
Oh dear.
But when we all stood up to sing Land of Hope and Glory, it was quite telling, the patriotism of, how people were supporting the Manx, but also involved the English, the UK, in all of that.
So the Parliament, you look at our Parliament here in Westminster and you wonder what's going on. But Tynwald, possibly the oldest Parliament in the world, do they have divisions and disputes? Do they have different parties?
When I first went, I was told no. But obviously, when you live there longer, you begin to hear different views being put across. They don't have things like Manx conservatism or Manx liberal or Manx Labour. It's nothing like that at all. But it's speaker against speaker. And yes, they do actually, talk to each other and debate and disagree. But it's all kept within your member of Tynwald, that actually you vote for each member to comprise Tynwald. And there's very little change in, your supporting member of Tynwald. So you wouldn't get a swing to one side, then a swing to the other. Yeah. And then, of course, we don't get Brexit in the Isle of Man.
Yes.
And so there would be nothing like that at all. But there are other issues that an island, a very enclosed island, can actually find themselves in not trouble, but very concerned areas. And things that we do here over in this country that are very much like safeguarding, for instance, the elderly, or safeguarding children, making sure. In the Isle of Man, there was very little of that at all.
Okay.
So it takes a long time to get over there, and it probably takes 1 or 2 vicars who've left the UK to go to the Isle of Man to actually introduce it.
So bring a fresh way of thinking.
Yes.
Yes.
So it can happen. And being the only female incumbent on the island wasn't all that easy, because I wasn't there by the consensus, the general consensus. I think that the Manx people had been told that there were more women coming into the ministry now, and therefore it's more likely that they would be offered women in the future.
And that takes people in churches some time to get used to, the idea that they can have a woman vicar, a woman leader of their worship.
Absolutely, because everything is very much male-dominated. And even, I don't know whether you realise, that women's vote women's liberation was first introduced from the Isle of Man.
Ah, gosh.
And yet, I went after a service into the church hall expecting to see men in the kitchen. And of course, it was all women who were doing the washing up and food preparation, waiting on tables, etc., etc. So it's very, very male dominated in that way. But there were a number of people who were absolutely, they did not want a woman vicar. But within a few months of my arriving, we had coffee together and we were chatting together, and they were so pleased that they'd met me. And we became friends, as much as you can become friends, you know, as a vicar in a parish when you've got over 10,000 people and 4 churches. So it was it was the second largest parish in the island, 4 churches. So I was seen like as if I were a fish in a bowl, going round and round. You know, going from one service to another. People could see my strengths. They could see my weaknesses. They could see anything they wanted to see, but it wasn't always true.
Surely, yeah. And when I introduced you, I called you by your proper ministerial title, the Reverend, which means you're ordained as a vicar,
right.
but the Reverend Canon Norma Cole. So what's the canon?
I was appointed as a canon because being the first woman incumbent in the island, I had paved the way, pioneered the way for other women, some who'd wanted to become ordained and were living in the island, but weren't encouraged, and some who wouldn't come from, you know, the UK generally over to the island. I didn't go out of my way to do anything different. I was me, and I had lots of services in my churches where other parishes came to visit and to listen and to be involved in. And by the time I retired, there were 2 women vicars on the island, and there was 1 woman on the island who had started training for ordained ministry.
So you paved the way for an expansion of women.
I broke through the dome, as it's called.
Oh, wonderful. Now, Norma, let's come up to date, because here you are settled in Peterborough now, worshipping in my church, St Mark's on Lincoln Road, and you're, can I say, you're of retirement age, but something special is going to happen this Sunday evening. Share with us what that is about.
Well, first of all, I'll say that when I came to Peterborough and came to your church, I was looking for a church where I could just hang up my hat and say, Alleluia, at the right place.
Right.
But as it transpired, things happened, and there was that still small voice again saying, I want you to be involved. I want you to be involved. So
this is God speaking to you.
God speaking to me. I want you to be involved. And knowing that feeling, as I'd had it several times before, I thought I was going to be involved in just having permission to officiate somewhere, anywhere, where in the deanery where there was a need. I never thought of being licensed to St Mark's Church, and that's taken me up a notch. But I'm actually excited about it.
Yes. So what's actually going to happen is that you're going to be licensed, which means that you have the bishop's authorization to preach and to take services and to take baptisms and weddings and funerals, and generally to serve the people of the parish of St Mark's.
Absolutely, yes.
Alongside me.
Yes.
So we've got We've doubled our number of vicars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure for how long, but as you said, I was of an age where retirement is usually, thought of. But, God speaks to us whether we're younger, middle-aged, older, even older still. He always, if he's given us a ministry, we're in a situation where we can actually exercise that ministry. And it's not for our good, it's for the good of the parish and the people, God's people.
Yes.
Not our people, God's people. And therefore, whatever we do in ministry as ministers of God is quite reverent and holy. There's this sense of we can't be slap-hazard about what we do. It's got to be God's will, God's timing in everything, and our obedience.
Surely. Yeah. In the last minute now, let me just mention that in order to get approval to be licensed, you had to meet the Bishop of Peterborough. And he's actually going to come and conduct the ceremony on Sunday evening at St Mark's Church. A quick view. What's the Bishop of Peterborough really like? Because you had a one-to-one conversation with him.
I did, and it lasted for nearly 2 hours.
Oh, gosh.
And it was a wonderful meeting of minds. There was no pompousness there or feeling of hierarchy. It was more brother and sister in the Lord. And it was very human and very caring. And also, of course, very reverent. Reverent rather than reverend.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a good experience because I've met other bishops who are not quite so friendly and kind and human.
Yeah.
So he's a bishop with a human face and a lot of love and care.
As a bishop should be. And as we come to the end of this half of our show, let me say a big thank you, Reverend Canon Norma Cole, for joining us live on Salam Radio. Good luck with your licensing on Sunday evening at St Mark's Church. Oh, and a happy birthday for tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank you very
do
much.
stay tuned, as we're going to hear about a very unusual way of recycling a large household object that is very difficult to get rid of and sometimes gets dumped on our streets as fly tipping. Do come back very soon and hear all about it. Meanwhile, I can let us know that the Bishop of Peterborough himself is going to come on to Salam Radio in a couple of weeks' time on the 5th of December to talk about his recent trip to Israel and Palestine. And I'm sure he'll mention the season of Christmas too. Speak soon. Right.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
There's a million choices available for dining out in Leeds.
But if you want something special, there's only one name to remember.
Mumtaz Leeds.
Relax in our newly refurbished Riverside restaurant.
Enjoy exquisite home cooking from our brand new menu. Upgrade to the Mumtaz Leeds experience.
And the price? Well, we're better value than ever before.
Mumtaz Leeds, Chadwick Street, Leeds, LS10 1PJ. Call 0113 242 4211.
Free car parking available.
कोई रत्तियां कमीज़ानी लमाना मारे मामा मिठिया में चीज़ानी।
मेरा नाम मुकद्दस है और कोट मेरा घर है और ये मेरे लिए किसी जन्नत से कम नहीं। हमारे भी कुछ ख्वाब हैं जिनकी ताबीर को हमें पाना है।
आइए इन बच्चों के ताबनाक मुस्तकबिल के लिए अपना हिस्सा डालिए। अपनी ज़कात, सदकात, खैरात और इमदाद कोट को दीजिए।
UK number 0300 123 7774. Website court.org.uk.
Almarad Tiles. With over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles. Full bathroom suites from only £189. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Almarad Tiles, now open.
In the mood for some authentic Desi food? Try Desi Restaurant on Lincoln Road. Start your day right with our Desi breakfast. Every day from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Halwa puri, channa, nihari, paya, paratha and omelette. Need a tasty lunch? Every day 1 to 4 p.m. we've got fast food, pizzas, kebab sandwiches, tandoori dishes, balti dishes, biryanis and much more. We're also open every evening 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Try our Desi Tawa special or our fresh handi, 1 kg chicken or lamb on the bone, cooked to order. Eat in, take away or free delivery. Visit desirestaurant.co.uk to view the full menu and order online. 60-seat capacity and a private function room. Catering service also available. Desi Restaurant, 298 Lincoln Road, Peterborough, PE1 2ND. Call us now on 555 795.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
And welcome back to Salam Radio on 106.2 FM and online at salamradio.co.uk. This is the second half of our show, Community Matters, with me, Adrian Holdstock, the radio show for all communities in Peterborough and beyond. We've another guest with me in the studio. It's Dave from Up the Garden, Bath. Welcome, Dave.
Hiya.
Hi. It's good to have you with us. And I've heard the expression going up the garden path, as in a track or a gravel path, or in these days in gardens, certainly in my garden, it's very muddy path. But did I hear correctly, up the garden bath?
You did, Adrian, yeah.
So the bath you find in the bathroom?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
And what is that all about then?
Well, basically we take old and often fly-tip bathtubs and we create a wooden surround around it, creating a raised and contained garden planter. So we're taking something that ends up in landfill a lot of the time and we're giving it a new purpose. We're taking these garden planters into primary schools and preschools to teach all about growing vegetables, eating healthy, recycling and sustainability.
Gosh. What gave you the idea to do this?
We did our own little herb garden about 5 years ago and it's been in our back garden all that time. We had a neighbour comment what a brilliant idea it was. So we started making a couple more and then the idea struck us to go into schools. We're aware that school budgets are being cut constantly. So we like to think we've created a cost-effective item that gives every school the option to have a growing programme.
So you acquire these baths, fiberglass,
any
cast iron.
They can be metal, they can be fiberglass.
Yeah.
We have an arrangement with Mick George and Aragon Direct Services. They're behind the project. They love the idea. They've given us first refusal on all baths that they take in at their recycling centres, along with the wood. And we're trying really hard to make the whole project 100% recycling. We have recently started to use recycled paint as well from the Community Paint Recycling Centre in March. So we're trying our best to make it a totally 100% recyclable item.
Gosh, it sounds like you've got a factory somewhere doing all of this work.
I wish. We have a little workspace in Breton. It's only temporary. It's with a brilliant project called Hackspace. They're creating a communal workspace where anyone can drop in and do what they want. So we're working closely with them at the moment. We have a team of, I call them employees, but no one's above anyone in the company. We're all level. We like to give opportunities to teenagers that have found themselves excluded from education for whatever reason, and it does happen, as well as semi-retired gentlemen who are very good at their woodwork. And we're trying to create a mentoring system where we pair a teenager up with a more experienced woodworker so they can learn the skills, etc., etc. So it is a community project, basically.
I'm just trying to imagine what you do with a bath because, it'll have a drain hole.
It will have a drain hole. We also put additional drainage in there.
Okay.
And then we create like the wooden surround around it.
So do you fill it with soil or with rubble? Or
we have a deal with a very good company called Biogen. They basically collect food waste from 12 local councils throughout the UK.
Okay.
They then convert that soil into electricity at their stations, and a byproduct of that procedure is a very rich, nutrient-high soil and liquid fertilizer.
Oh, right.
So we get that. They're again behind the project. They collect food waste from Peterborough anyway, so it makes sense. Our soil generally is coming from that source, and the original source was obviously Peterborough when people are throwing out their food waste.
Surely, yeah. You put it all together. Now the wooden surround, what are those like?
All the wood is recycled. We have started putting barge boards around the bottom because we've found when we're in schools, little children, for whatever reason, do like kicking the bottom of the planter. So it's constantly evolving. The one that went in here at the Iqbal Centre has been improved. We try to use decking wood on the top because it creates a lovely finish. The wood comes from Mick George and Aragon Direct Services, and it is what it is. Old sheds, old fences, old Wendy houses, old dog kennels, whatever we can get our hands on, basically.
Goodness. Everything then is recycled.
That's our aim, yes. Apart from the screws, and we are still trying to figure out a way where any screws we take out of any old fences we can repurpose into this project. But because it is going into schools, it has to be of a certain quality. We can't have splinters sticking now, and we can't have jagged bits, etc., etc.
Sure.
It's just what we have to go through to be able to go into schools.
Where have you managed to get into in schools?
We're due to have one here going in at Beaches preschool.
Okay.
We've got another one going into the Brambles in Brampton, and we are traditionally it's the end of the gardening season. We're moving into winter now. All the leaves are falling off the trees. We know there's going to be a dip. Because not many schools are letting their kids out and running around and doing gardening programs in winter. So we are literally ramping up, ready for spring of next year, where it's going to go berserk.
So if a school books you, you go along with a pre-assembled.
Correct.
What do you call it?
We've got a couple of versions. We've got a mini allotment garden planter that comes with 8 established vegetable plants. We do a herb garden, which is similar with just the herbs. We do a flower power planter, which is just a flower display.
Sure.
We were contacted today by Peterborough City Council, we're due to meet them on Monday. We're discussing having one of ours baths going outside the town hall. So that's brilliant.
Wow.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Again, behind the project. And when I started the project, I didn't sort of expect it to catch fire like this. And just the enthusiasm, it's bowled me over. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Typical of Peterborough to be the first city council in the land to have a bath outside its town hall.
Brilliant. We have already been approached by other councils throughout the UK, Bedfordshire Council and Suffolk City Council.
Right.
They're very keen on doing a similar scheme in their geographical areas under the company name Up the Garden Bath, which I chose, by the way, and I love that. So, if we can spread this out throughout the UK, encourage all councils to recycle an item that generally isn't recycled and educate children about vegetables and growing, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah. What sort of reaction have you had from the children?
The children love it. We do a slightly, I won't say dumbed down, but age appropriate one for preschools. You can't go into preschools and teach children about recycling. You can touch on it, but they won't understand fully.
Right.
So we make it a more activity, fun-based. We let them paint the bath with their handprints on the side. That encourages their artistic ability. They love playing with the soil and putting all the plants in. And then we do a growing program. Obviously, when we plant our plants, even though they're established, there's not an instant return, so to speak. So we do a little growing program where we let them grow cress heads inside eggshells. Cress heads, they're there within 2 days, so it's more of an instant reaction for them. But the kids love it, and the more children and the more schools we're exposed to, it's going to catch fire.
Yeah. It sounds such a fantastic idea. Why hasn't it been thought of before?
Bathtubs or old bathtubs have been used on allotments for ages and ages. Like I said, a lot of the time they end up getting fly tipped because they can't be recycled and it's costly to dispose of them. As far as we're aware, by building the wooden frame around it and making it a raised planter, a lot of parents are not too happy with their kids getting down in the dirt and getting mud all over their school trousers, etc. So by making it a raised, contained mini allotment, so to speak, it's given schools the option of doing growing programs at times when budgets are being cut.
And you're organised as a social enterprise.
Correct.
What's one of those?
Well, basically, it means we're going to be non-profit making. It means, apart from obvious small costs that we have to pay for, unfortunately, we are planning on donating residual profits to local community projects or local charities. That way, we're giving back rather than just starting a company that is all about me, let's make money. There's plenty of gardening projects here in Peterborough that community centres are starting. So if we can help them on their way, then we're giving back.
Aye, that's wonderful. And it's about recycling and promoting gardening and educational. Oh, and providing work opportunities.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, if I can give one teenager the chance that he wouldn't normally get, or she, sorry, then we're giving back again and we're paying it forward. And I've always said, if we all helped each other in this world, what a wonderful world it would be. So be in a position where I can help people, it's brilliant.
Yeah. And how do people find out more about what you're doing?
Okay, well, they can find us on Facebook. They can find us on Twitter. Our website is upthegardenbath.co.uk. You can donate materials. We have a couple of bathroom contractors that love the project, and they drop baths off at our premises. Wood, paint, anything you want to donate, please get involved. At the end of the day, the end product is going into schools to educate children. And what better, more rewarding business is there, basically?
Yeah. And for schools, how again through the
website
or Facebook?
It's a very easy website. You can book an activity lesson. The preschool ones we've set for 60 minutes. Otherwise, we find the younger children sort of lose interest, etc. For Key Stage 1 and 2, they're 90 minutes, which is ideal just before the lunchtime break, or ideal for just after the lunchtime break to fill the afternoon. And the more schools that get involved, the better.
Ah, wonderful. I know, being a school governor myself, the schools might ask, well, are you safety checked, are you?
All our staff are DBS checked.
Okay.
We have to follow strict guidelines to be able to go into schools. Between our teaching staff, we've got over 15 years experience of working with kids from 3 years up until 15 years. we've got to make sure the priority is the child and the child's security and the child's education.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back a bit. Where did the idea first come from?
Like I said, I built a herb garden out of a next door's bath that they couldn't get rid of about 5 years ago, and we use recycled wood. We've got mint, we've got chocolate mint, lemon labana, rosemary. It's all by the back door as well, so whenever we're cooking, it's easy access to just go out and get fresh herbs. And it was literally just a passing comment by a neighbour. At the time, I was finding it hard to find employment after a couple of years of ill health. And rather than sitting around feeling sorry for myself, I saw this as an opportunity for myself and my wife, who's always wanted to get into teaching, of creating something that's going to make a difference. And that's what ultimately my legacy will be, trying to make a difference, and that's all I'm trying to do, Adrian.
It is. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. May it spread.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, we need everyone's help. We have recently just lost our transportation, unfortunately. We have a target, and we've raised the majority of that target. So any help, donations, etc., greatly received. And like I said, at the end of the day, it is being channeled back into the community ultimately, and it's being used to give teenagers an opportunity. So what better reason to get on board with the project?
So you'd like your own transport, but if somebody could offer you...
Brilliant. I've got a couple of staff that we need to get from one part of Peterborough over to Bretton on a daily basis. It's quite hard without transportation. I myself have, like I said, had some ill health, and getting on 4 buses a day to get to my actual building location isn't ideal. So in an ideal world, we'll have our own transportation. That way we can collect baths, collect fences, collect staff, collect paint, put it all together and just carry on manufacturing.
I think we must hold a link on Salam Radio to your Facebook.
That would be brilliant.
And through social media, let more people know what's going on.
And
then
brilliant.
They can make the choice if they think that they could support you.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
How many people are involved in this?
We have myself, my wife and my daughter. We have 2 teenagers that are, as I call my apprentices, that I am teaching all about woodwork. We have a gentleman called Joe Halstead from the People Project. He's also on board. And all of us together are working very hard to push forward. And we know come next spring, once the gardening season kicks off again, demand will be high.
Yeah.
With one going outside Peterborough Town Hall as well, everyone's going to get to see it, and I'm hoping Peterborough City Council will help me promote it a little bit more and spread the word. I'm sure they will.
Are you going to get a nice little sign done?
Yes, with our logo on it and the logos of the other companies we've got on board.
So have you got a logo? I'm just imagining a winding path.
Our logo, I did it myself. It's an old bath with plants growing out at the top of it. Right. So it's, and the name Up the Garden Bath, it just seemed to resonate with what we were trying to do, because we upcycle garden baths. Upcycle baths. So everyone seems to love the name. Everyone seems to love the project. Let's make it happen.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you.
I'm just going to come on now to some news of things that are coming up. Let me just mention that the Sue Ryder, we love to talk about Sue Ryder, Thorpe Hall Hospice, and the marvellous work that they're doing there. On Sunday, the 15th of December, is a programme called Lights of Love in Peterborough Cathedral, and the hospice are seeking a headline sponsor for that event, Lights of Love in Peterborough Cathedral, Sunday the 15th of December. It's a wonderful and worthwhile charity, and I wonder if anyone would be able to call Peterborough 225 940 if they feel that they would be able to support that event. And it's going to have festive readings, stories about the Christmas season, and carols being sung. So that's a really lovely event on Sunday the 15th of December at Peterborough Cathedral. But before we get to that, we've got a fun day coming up, which is being organised by Community First Peterborough with St Mark's Church on Saturday the 30th of November. That's just over a week's time. And it's at the Gladstone Park Community Centre. It's free entry. It's from 11 to 3. There'll be stalls, food, henna, face painting, and I think as of today there'll be a small bouncy castle that we've ordered. So it's lots of fun for all the family. Sarah is organising that. Sarah we've had on Salam Show for a couple of occasions. 11 until 3 p.m. Saturday 30th of November, a fun day for all the family. There's a couple of reasons for doing this fun day. One is that we're raising funds for the winter night shelter and Community First Peterborough, and for the good work that both those organisations are doing. But the other is that we're looking to get feedback from local residents and citizens of our Gladstone area to let us know what you think is needed in our community area, what are the challenges, what are the problems, what are the great opportunities that we want to offer ourselves and organise, and see if we can get all of that thinking together. So, fun day, Saturday 30th of November. I mean, I don't know if that's the sort of event that you could bring a bath to.
We have one here at the Iqbal Centre already. Literally just down the side.
So anyone wants to see it?
It's here.
Yes.
We donated it as part of Jimmy Doherty's bee campaign earlier in the year for Channel 4. The children have decorated it with butterflies and bees down the side.
Okay.
So yeah, there is one here at the Iqbal Centre.
Right. Now, I've not noticed it. So if I go out the front door here, there's that little mini park.
There is.
So where is the...
It's just down the side as you walk down towards the school entrance.
Okay.
It's floodlit at night as well, which is brilliant.
Good.
We put 8 different plants in there to feed and nurture bees all year round. So some of the plants in winter are dying off, but you have some plants that are blooming, and then come spring it just revolves all year round. We have another one going into Woodston Primary School come the spring as part of that bee campaign as well. So there's one here,
Wow. Well, do you know, that is so important. The insect life of our world, our whole world, has been under threat. So we've been talking about climate change, and we had Extinction Rebellion on here a few weeks ago.
Good.
And I think we're all very well aware of the climate warming and the seas rising with ice melting and so on, and more extreme weather, hotter, heavier, and intense downpour of rain and so on. But what we're not so aware of is what's happening with our insect life. And if we lose our bees, we lose the insects that pollinate, as you say, everything. Our trees, our crops, our flowers, our hedgerows.
It'll be a disaster. We've created a pollen paradise planter from one of the baths.
Right.
Again, designed specifically to encourage and enhance wildlife, bees, butterflies. It's like a mini bug hotel or a bee B&B, so to speak. Everything a bee could want for a short stay: water, flower, places to nest, etc. We did consider putting in an option of making it into a beehive, but obviously our product goes into schools and we don't necessarily want too many bees around it. So we're trying to do our bit to encourage wildlife with our pollen planter.
A bee bath.
A bee bath, so to speak. B&B. We played with a lot of names.
Well, that's follows on from Airbnb, but we can't mention them.
We can't mention them.
Now, I don't know if you've come across a great charity, and the national headquarters of this charity is here in Peterborough. It's called Bug Life.
Yes, we're trying to work with Bug Life. They attended the Jimmy Doherty Bee campaign. So we've introduced ourselves. Come spring of next year, when our pollen paradise goes into Woodston Primary School as part of the documentary, we're going to be working with Bugs Life. We're also planning on doing a pond version of the baths. We've had some inquiries already, and we're going to be working with Frog Life to figure out the relevant plants. I haven't got a great experience in ponds and what weed.
So does the bath go in the pond, or?
Traditionally, if you're having a pond in your back garden, you have to dig a hole. If you then get bored of it, you have to fill the hole. So having a raised planter pond version Great for the disabled and the elderly, because obviously it'd be at a nice height for them. And then if you get tired of it, drain the water out and turn it into a garden planter.
Okay.
So recycling a recyclable item, so to speak.
Sure. Wow, another great idea.
Yes, we're also doing some vertical gutter gardens made out of recycled guttering. Ideal if you've got a small house, etc. It can go up on the wall, grow your own lettuce, etc., etc., kale.
This is where you put little holes in the guttering and things grow out of it.
Hydroponics, basically, using just water. A lot of plants can be grown without no soil at all. I've recently taken the end of a leek and regrown a leek just using water on my windowsill in my kitchen. Try it, cut the end of a leek, put it in the water. Within a week, that leek is starting to grow again. So no soil's actually needed.
Right.
It's amazing what you can do. But taking that sort of knowledge into schools, which is what we're trying to do, believe it or not, children, they're not so clued up on their vegetables and fruit. Some children don't even know apples grow on trees, believe it or not. They think it comes from supermarkets.
Well, they do, or out of a tin.
Yeah. And if we can change the perception in one child's mind, make them think about recycling or eating healthy or gardening itself, then we've made the difference in one child, and that's fine for me.
That's wonderful. Yeah. What else could you recycle?
We got challenged to recycle an old porcelain toilet. Which we did, and it's on our website, and we built a frame around it similar to what we do with our planters, but the size is different and it can only cope with one big plant in it. So we've created a flushing flower planter where you get the choice of a big fuchsia bush, which eventually blooms and covers the whole top of the planter and looks lovely, or a rose bush, because both are quite popular. So yeah, sinks, toilets, baths, we'll give anything a go, basically. We will. We literally will give anything a go.
Goodness me, yeah. And you mentioned fly tipping, and that's a terrible scourge on our streets. I haven't seen a kitchen sink, but I have seen a toilet bowl.
There we are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to costs of getting certain companies to come take refuse, certain people are encouraged through lack of means to just dump it. That blights the countryside. It then costs the local council a lot of money to go clear up the fly tipping. Whereas if anyone's got baths, toilets, sinks, wood, please donate it to our project. You're helping us and we're helping others.
Sure.
So together we'll all help the world.
And if people can deliver, have you got somewhere to receive?
Yes, certainly. We're more than happy. We've got a couple of bathroom contractors already dropping baths off for us.
Right.
So yeah, the more the merrier. Let's get it built.
Well, up the garden bath, Dave.
Thank you.
Many congratulations with this initiative.
Thank you.
I pray your health may stay well.
I'm sure.
And that you may have many years of happy invention in sharing the education and the gardening and the recycling that you're doing. Thank you for joining us on Community Matters.
Thank you for your time, Adrian.
Thank you. So we're coming to the end of our show. Here is Up the Garden Bath. It's about growing, it's about education, it's about being creative. And of course, many thanks to our earlier guest, the Reverend Canon Norma Cole, and good luck for her licensing ceremony on Sunday evening at 6 o'clock with the Bishop of Peterborough. Well, that's all we have time for tonight on Community Matters. Remember, you are the community that matters wherever you are, and we'd like everyone to be a community that lives in peace and harmony. Salam, shalom, namaste, and the peace of God to you all. Good night.
You're listening to Salam Radio, and it's now time for Isha Azan. This Azan is sponsored